Hello.
And welcome to another Have You Seen? With Nick and Lance.
All right.
And so I wouldn't say I'm at the bottom of the well, so to speak.
I've seen so few movies that you should never hit the bottom of the well. If
I,
there's movies you want to talk about that I also haven't seen.
so I've had to shift a little bit because it's like I show you this movie and I'm like, oh God, Nick, I love this movie. Check it out. And you're like, 5. And I'm like, you're killing me. So I'm trying to think of like, I know kind of what, well, not kind of. I have a shadow of an idea of like what I think you would think is like an amazing movie, and then I have to put that against what I think are amazing movies.
Is the point to find movies that I enjoy, or is it to find movies to expand like each other's breadth of movies and then have a medium in which to talk about them with somebody?
Oh no, that was the original mission, but now I'm just looking for movies that she'll just
Oh,
enjoy.
okay. Because we watched Transformers, and I told you several times, Mike, we're going to watch Transformers, and I'm going to give it like a 4 or 5.
I know
But it's a reason for you to talk to people about Transformers, because I'm just not.
it's not your thing.
It's
I
not. It's
know.
not my thing.
I,
I don't wear shirts that are both Transformers and X-Men. I wear shirts that are both Menzo Baranzan and Disney,
Manzo Baranzan.
or creepy ghost girls.
No, I've been trying to find like I feel like it's just like, please sir, watch this movie. I love it, and you're like,
Bah!
exactly. So like I've been trying to find something that's a little closer to your genre. So, but I asked you to watch the Shawshank Redemption this
Yeah,
week.
The Shawshank Redemption.
Well,
One I have not actually seen, but I have had spoiled through for me through pop culture. I think there's Family Guy just did an episode where they just kind of did a few broad strokes of the Shawshank Redemption, including the ending. So I knew the ending to this movie before watching it.
yeah, they pretty much hit like all the major fucking like
Yeah.
yeah. Well, let's just dive right in, shall we?
Okay. I guess after score spoilers for the Shawshank Redemption from like what was it, 80s, early 90s?
Yeah, 80, 94, I think. Let me double check that. Don't look, because I still want to do the thingy.
Yeah.
94. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I would have been 11. So
I would have
So of course I didn't watch this movie.
I would have been 19. I'm fucking old. Jesus. All right. So this should be a 20-minute review. Nick,
We'll find out.
I'm dying to find out. I've changed the number like 8 times now.
But now it's done.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
All right. So Nick, on a scale from 0 to 10, what would you give The Shawshank Redemption?
I'm gonna give it a 7. It's pretty good. I like this movie.
I kept going back to 6, and I'm like, every time you go fucking high, and he always goes one lower, so I kept putting it back on 6. And I was like, I really think this is a good movie. I'm hoping he enjoyed this movie. So,
It's good. It's kind of hard because it's of a genre I tend not to like. Stories of over long periods of time. We've watched a few on the channel, and I'm kind of like, I don't think I like these sort of movies where the movie takes place over the course of 40 years or whatever, and you're kind of like, let's see what their life is like now. Because in a lot of those styles of movies, it's kind of like now we're on year like 15 with this guy, and we're doing a scene with him and some characters we've never seen before, but he knows. So he's interacting with them because they've been in his life. We just met them. Not so much with this movie because we're kind of just in one place. The guards don't really change. Some prisoners kind of come in and out, but for the most part, the main skeleton crew is all there.
yeah.
So even though it's over the course of, is it 20 years, 20 years, 19?
Yeah.
The people don't really shift in and out that much. They just kind of like, we'll put some baby powder in their hair, and look, he's 10 years older now. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. And yeah, and it mainly stays with the tar roof gang.
Yeah.
The entire time. So, yeah.
Yeah. But it got over another thing I don't really like is narration, but this narration was by Morgan Freeman, so that immediately makes it much easier to deal with.
His voice is nice and pleasant.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a Twinkie. Like a Twinkie.
But a lot of times when movies are doing narration, I'm not as into hearing what's going on in people's head. I would rather.
And I know you're not big into bummer movies.
This one's not too big of a bummer movie. It's a bit of a bummer movie,
it's
but it's
got-
not. But it's not the biggest bummer movie.
No, I get it. And I was worried about that when I was sitting there watching it this week. I just like there were certain parts I come into, and I was like, "Oh, that took off 2 points." Damn! We're at 3. So
See, stories can have bummers as long as they don't like just make me feel awful.
I get it.
I already feel awful. I don't need help.
All right, this just turned into a no.
All right, Lance. What would you give the Shawshank Redemption?
So this is easily one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Oh, okay.
And I waffled for a while because I was like, do I give it a 10? I mean, this is definitely a movie that I can watch over and over and over again, and I enjoy it every single time I watch it. But I'm going to have to give this movie a 9.
Okay. A little close with my little 8.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think you'd make me watch it if you weren't into it. But I've also made you watch movies that I'm not super into, and just like I just want to talk about this movie.
Well, I mean, that was also like the original thought behind this is it was going to be, have you seen this terrible fucking movie?
It's just going to be watch this thing. It's kind of getting each other to watch movies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times in which you're like, hey Nick, there's this movie I want you to watch. I'm like, yeah, okay, and I'll file it like over there, and then just kind of like it'll leave my brain. At least with this little series going on, like Nick, next week we're talking about this fucking movie I want to watch. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's
do
true. I'm surprised you haven't just been like, hey, Nick, I want you to watch this movie. And you'd be like, fuck you, I'm not coming over anymore.
Get me to watch whatever the fuck you want. The rule that's been implemented is if I watch it, you also have to watch it. If we're watching Fist of the North Star, you are sitting down and watching Fist of the North Star as well. If you're subjecting me to it, you're going through it yourself.
Yeah, no, when you laid that rule down, I was like, I'll never ask you to watch this Silver Star.
It's me like talking about a movie and you being like, yeah, I've not seen it in 25 years. I don't remember shit about this movie.
Yeah.
You carry the conversation about a movie you didn't want to talk about.
I loomed in the dark to you again. Yeah, no, that's it's a god awful movie. I'll never ask you to watch that one.
So we've been fairly nice to each other with a couple, I don't know.
Couple of sidewinders here and there.
But even still, like, I knew you wouldn't like the proposal, but I liked it, so fuck you.
Well, I mean, it wasn't the worst fucking movie I've ever seen in my life.
I didn't, it's not that I expected you to dislike it,
Yeah.
but I didn't expect you to like it. That's what the 5s are for.
Okay.
Movies that you're like, okay, it's a movie. I watched that movie.
There's something redeeming. There's something redeeming enough about this flick where every week now you got to just bust in, and you're not getting us any additional clicks. So what's happening? Huh?
Yeah, look, like for the cat.
Just jump up here, put hair all over Daddy's shirt. I've been keeping you off my chest all day.
Meow with the microphone. Well, I guess this is time to say spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
30-almost-year-old movie.
Yeah.
But if you're like me, you've already had it spoiled for you on several occasions.
The internet loves ruining popular pop culture.
It's one of the reasons I've not gone back to watch a bunch of old stuff is because I already know it, or the hype for it is like, this is the best movie ever made. I know you went back to watch Citizen Kane with people saying like people are like it's a Citizen Kane of movies. It's like that as such a high bar of movies that going back to watch it, you're like, I mean, it's fine. Just kind of
Go play with your toys.
where you expect it to be and where you end up.
See? I swear to God, she hair bombs me. But okay, so yes, we're fully into spoilers now. So this movie was written by Stephen King and Frank Darabont.
Okay.
Who
Is that
is-
his alias, or is that like another? Is that the
Frank Darabont.
screenwriter?
They're basically the screenwriters, I think, for this movie. But Jesus, she is persistent tonight. Frank Darabont also, if the name is ringing somewhat familiar to you, it's because he's the one that's also doing The Walking Dead, the TV series. And Stephen King also wrote this, but Frank Darabont directed this movie. And the thing that I think I love the most about this one is the entire time, once I discovered that Stephen King had writing credits in this, the entire time I was watching, I was like, okay, there's a link to the Dark Tower here somewhere. And I kept watching for it, and I was like, nope, it's just a prison story.
Yeah, it's just kind of its own thing.
Yeah, which is great. Like, I love knowing that Stephen King can write other things than...
I guess it started off, and I'm like, I think I remember this being a Stephen King movie, but I'm not sure. And they're like, go on up to Maine, and I'm like, it's pretty okay. There it is. There's the Stephen King link.
Yeah, he loves Maine.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think also a lot of Cthulhu mythos are like based in Maine.
Massachusetts, isn't it?
Is it
I think it's
Massachusetts?
Massachusetts, but it's still the Northeast.
Okay, well, a lot of weird shit's been going on in the Northeast apparently. But, anyways, so I'm glad you like this movie.
Yes.
All right, well, thanks for joining. I'm just kidding. Yeah,
I don't know that I might revisit it in the future, but
Mm.
not for some time.
yeah. I just love Andy Dufresne's character in the movie.
Chill. What's his name? Tim Robbins?
Yeah,
Is it Tim or Tom?
Tim.
Tim. I just like how, like, at the beginning, Rob said, or Red said, like, oh, he's very soft spoken, whatever. And through the entire movie, he's just kind of like, yeah, man, how's it going? And it's just kind of like his energy level is very low and just kind of soft spoken, not doesn't stand out too much, doesn't want to, I don't know.
Yeah, he speaks and he's confident, like he's hot shit, and then
Yeah.
you get to know him, and it's kind of like, okay, he's grounded, but he's not one of those people that's like super in your face or anything like
Which
that.
makes him, I guess people were saying thought he came off across as arrogant,
Yeah,
hence why he got some kind of tension in the prison. But he's just kind of like he wasn't into being loud, I guess.
well, it's like I love how his personality and like the way you perceive him would make you think a certain way, but then like he did so much for the people around him. Like the beers part, I thought was great,
Yep.
and the lead up to that, like
Brown.
Clancy Brown in this movie is a fucking villain,
No, absolutely.
super villain.
That's just because of I guess the very first thing we kind of like find out how much of a piece of shit he is with the larger prisoner.
Trish,
Yeah, I
yes.
think it's his beaten to death, essentially.
And the guy bled out in the fucking infirmary.
They beat a man to the point where he needs a doctor, and then just left him in the infirmary because the doctor went home, and then by the morning, dead.
Yep, I think that's probably comparable to our prison system right now.
I don't know.
Probably pretty close. But then you also see, like, as the movie goes on, like, the guards and the warden don't even consider the people in the prison people.
Yeah. Which is just a common thread in prison movies, but I mirrors real life too.
Nope.
If you've ever heard of that little experiment or whatever that they kind of had to cut, I don't remember the name of it, that they had to cut off because college students were acting like, where they set up like you're the guards, you're the prisoners, and
And
they had to
found
call
out
up
that power was corrupting them and everything.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but I know exactly what you're talking about. It was like a bunch of Yale students or something like that.
something.
I don't remember, but yeah, it was like they put them in a prison system,
And-
made guards and made prisoners, and sure enough,
Yeah, just fell. They ate up the roles and just kind of fell into it and
yeah, and became
and
fucking
became corrupted.
horrible.
And, yeah, to the point where you're like, yeah, this is an experiment. We're stopping because your guys are going way too fucking far. With it.
Yeah, we're straight up just proving, that we apparently can't handle fucking any kind of power. And power also corrupts absolute power corrupts absolutely. Yeah, it's just it's nuts. If there's one thing that I've been saying for the longest time, it's take anything that man or woman has made for mankind, for like whatever great purposes, and someone will always fuck it up and corrupt it.
Oh, yeah.
If you know something that's been made for mankind and not corrupted, in some way, form, or fashion, please put it down in the comments, because I'd fucking love to know what it is.
That's what brings to mind. It's got something that Andy Dufresne says like much later in the movie or whatever. Is when he's talking about fixing the books for the warden. He's like, it took me to coming to prison to become a crook.
Yeah, I was squeaky clean on the
Yeah,
outside.
it said on the outside, but
I had to come to prison to be a crook.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also love how he explained all that away. Yeah, the guy's a shadow. He's a nothing. I made him up out of material air. And he's like, you can't just make up people. And he's like, he's got a driver's license.
Look at all the paperwork.
Yeah, he's got a social security number. But it's like, I think it was the last podcast guys who said, you can't be a serial killer now because there's too many people paying attention. There's too many cameras everywhere. And like, as we go along in time, we get wiser and wiser to the bullshit. And I guess back then they didn't really pay attention.
I don't know. You couldn't have instantaneous like communication or whatever. So a lot of people only existed on paper, even if they actually existed or not. I mean, it's kind of like it's just a number on a sheet to you.
Now you have to have like some kind of proof of life that they could trace you back now. But like also any kind of proof of life like existed in a filing drawer. Now it's like out there on fucking some kind of database somewhere. that's like backed up 82
Yeah,
times.
just the one file anymore. Like if here's the building where all your information is stored and it burns down. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You got a lot of paperwork to do.
Yeah, like Fight Club was made today and they destroyed all the fucking creditor offices. Like somebody in another office go, boop, disk backup. Yeah,
Yeah.
you still owe us money.
I've still never seen that movie either. But it's again another movie where everyone talks the crap up. I know beats and beats and beats of the movie to the
You know the
point
turns.
the turn. I know the twist. I'm like, I don't need to watch the
Yeah. Well, shit. That's a good movie too.
movie.
Uh, you know
That's what
what?
people say.
This I think was one of the higher movies that I fucking like got you to watch that you rated this high. So who knows? Maybe I'll ask you to watch Fight Club so I can get another 7 out of you.
I don't
Who knows?
know if I'm cynical enough for Fight Club.
Well, I'll think about it.
Yeah,
It's your turn to pick anyway. So.
it is.
But yeah, I just really wanted to watch this movie
good.
because it's like my favorite Morgan Freeman movie. I love fucking Red's character. I think he's great. Andy Dufresne is fantastic. I wish that some of the turns in the movie wouldn't have been spoiled for you.
Yeah.
But Family Guy can't help itself, and I can't really blame Family Guy because again, the movie's 30 years old.
Yeah, it's
So
24.
yeah,
It's kind of my own fault for knowing bits of it. And it's kind of like it's just been people talking about movies or whatever, or just whatever. Kind of it comes up. People talk about like, hey man, this is a great movie, and here's all the, like, here's why you should watch movies. And sometimes that's what it takes for me to watch a movie. People are like, hey, watch this movie. It's about like premise. I'm like, I'm not particularly interested in premise. But then you're like, it hits these kind of interesting points. I'm like, oh, I'll give it a chance.
okay.
So sometimes I need a movie a little spoiled in order to get me to watch it. If the premise itself doesn't sell it on me,
Have you ever seen my porn tape?
I don't want to watch that.
It has love. It has romance. It has a car chase.
I already know the ending.
It wasn't happy.
I was going to say the duration is 5 minutes, and most of it's set up.
If you watch it twice. But yeah, is there anything that was in the movie that didn't actually get spoiled for you?
I mean, just a little bit. I guess I didn't know. I don't know the actor's name, but he was Drake in Aliens.
Drake.
He was
Is that Boggs?
the guy there with the smart gun in Aliens?
Yeah.
And Vasquez.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
I think it's Boggs. That sounds right. I didn't know any of that little bit.
One of the sisters?
Yeah.
Okay. That was Drake?
Yeah, I think so. You can look it up right now.
I'll
But
look at it.
I looked at his face and I'm like, that's Drake from the guy with the smart gun. But that would riff off of Vasquez.
You're just too cool, baby. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. That's fucking Drake?
Pretty sure he's another one of those guys that's in like a bunch of movies.
Private Drake? No shit. Holy fuck. I had no idea.
I'm not necessarily good with names, but I'm good with faces.
Apparently he's in Ahsoka too. Captain Hale.
I don't know who Captain Hale was.
I don't know either, but he's Captain fucking Hale.
Okay.
You go, Boggs. Holy shit. I had no idea he was still working. That's amazing.
There was, I can't remember if it's a documentary or something, or maybe it was on TV or something like that, where they get a bunch of people that are like that guy,
Yeah.
and they kind of just interview those people. And I think he was in that little documentary.
You know, I'd love to see in that documentary. I'm gonna have to start watching it now. Die Hard, the Asian gentleman with the long hair, and he's kind of got like the bald a little bit, and he's got the big fat mustache. You see him in a lot of
I think I'd have
stuff,
to see his face.
but he's literally that fucking guy. Like, there's a lot of.
I mean, the show might have been called That Guy, or something like that. But it was, I can't remember what it was. I can't remember if it was just like a short, like little documentary, like not like a TV series or anything like that, but just like a little documentary that talked to a few people that were kind of you know their faces, but you might not know their name. Oh yeah, okay.
Al Leong.
Was he in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure as come back?
He was in Big Trouble in Little China.
He was Genghis Khan.
Yeah, he's that fucking guy.
Oh yeah.
No,
I saw his face and I'm like, that's Genghis Khan.
yeah, like hardly anybody knows probably what his name is.
Yeah, I wouldn't know his name.
But look at this fucking.
Oh yeah, and the other guy that played Elektra's father in the Daredevil movie. who kind of looks like Middle Eastern a little bit. Usually bald, kind of like white hair on the side, and oftentimes with like a little beard. I think his name is like Avari. He's another one that's like just in so much stuff that I learned his name once and then time passed. Eric Avari. No,
Eric
let
Avari.
me see, if my brain did it. He was also
Eric Avari.
he was also in
Oh yeah, that fucking
the
guy.
Stargate movie. He was the guy that one of the leader of the Egyptian slave people or whatever they were called.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in everything. He's in The Mummy. He was in oh yeah, he was the guy in Planet of the Apes. In the remake that
He's
we
a
watched, he was the human servant guy that went with him.
okay. Yeah, he's the dude is just he's another fucking bad guy.
He's
Okay.
and usually his character doesn't make it. From what I remember, he was even in like True Calling. He's just a cool guy. I like him.
If you know that guy, put him down in the comments.
Give us more like. Did you not realize that this guy is in the Shawshank Redemption or in whatever, and they're like linked and linked and linked. We've done enough of these little recordings where we're watching something and I'm like, hey, this kind of here's a Stephen King movie, and we just watched Pet Cemetery, and kind of like all the things we watch, kind of Kevin Bacon their way, kind of back to each other in that sort of
Yeah.
degrees of separation or whatever it is.
We need to make a 6 degrees of that guy in movies.
Yeah.
Pick a movie, and then
I would imagine with a lot of these people, it's like what is it? It's one, right? Because if it's zero, you are Kevin Bacon.
yes,
Okay,
it'd have to be 6.
it's a 6 degrees separation.
Don't you have 3 degrees?
Uh, I don't remember the thing anymore. But my lab partner was an extra in the Othello thing that was shot around here when I was in college. And then so he was in that with O, who was in something with Kevin Bacon. So I think I'm at a 3 or 4. I don't remember which. I'd have to go to O and check if those people are at 1 or if they're at 2. Because if there's an actor in there at 1, that means I would be 3, which means you would be 4 degrees away from Kevin Bacon.
Fucking awesome. I had no idea. That's amazing. I've always sucked at that game.
It also, I'm not very good with. I don't see a lot of movies.
You're going to now.
No, I watch movies a lot. I don't watch a lot of movies, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. You watch a lot of the same movies over and over again.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna change that.
That's I like watching shit that I like, especially like it's on in the background of doing something else. I'm not going to do that with a movie I've never seen before.
I can't do that. Like I literally can't do that. If I'm watching a movie that I really want to be invested in, I have to turn fucking everything off around me, and I have to just look.
If
at the
I
TV.
want to be invested in it, I do have to do that. That's why I put on stuff I've seen before, so I don't feel the need to be invested in it because I'm like, oh, I know this bit. I can pick up this 5 minute chunk and this 5 minute chunk and know the missing bits and still be able to follow it.
Yeah, just kind of doing your own thing, and then all of a sudden, like that one part happens. You're like,
I want to watch this part. Well, it's usually like playing a game on the computer. My TV's right there. It's not, but usually with random YouTube videos coming up. This is what our show is great for. Have us up while you're playing a game.
yes, and have your friends have us up while they're playing a game.
Yeah. And then when you hear us say something incredibly stupid, like I've never seen Fight Club, that's when you pull up the tab to go like, man, Nick is an idiot. Never seen Fight Club.
Yeah, leave those comments, please.
Or it took you 29 years to watch The Shawshank Redemption. What the F is wrong with you?
Don't judge us. There's movies that I'm sure that are super, super popular that I have not seen, but I've seen a lot of them.
I've never seen The Godfather.
I'm not going to ask you to watch that one.
I don't know.
Well, you know what?
It's a glorifying crime mafia. I've never been interested.
Yeah, I know you don't like mafia movies.
Never seen
but
Scarface for a similar reason. I'm just not interested.
You've never seen Scarface?
No.
That's fucked up, man.
I know the ending.
Do you?
Yeah.
Where he says hello to his little friend?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you get this summed up in the Lonely Island song with I don't remember his name anymore.
Andy Samberg?
Well, it's Lonely Island did Captain Jack Sparrow with
Oh, Bolton.
yeah Michael Bolton, and then he kind of goes through okay, I'm Aaron Brockovich,
Yeah, and then he was Tony Montana.
and then Tony Montana.
Tony
Say hello
Montana.
to my little friend.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I can't remember. I think it was Hot Shots, or it was a really bad parody movie where the dude said, "Say hello to my little friend." And he opened the fucking coat up, and a 3-foot guy walked out with a machine gun. This shit was awesome. All right, so I know that we just went off on a really long tangent.
That's a big tangent
That's-
for that guy.
That's what we do.
For that guy.
Yeah. So
So Drake was in this movie. I didn't know that little bit of the story for the Shawshank Redemption. There's other, I mean, a lot of the small bits or whatever. I mean, stuff you don't really think about, like them worried about Andy committing suicide. The little greaser guy that kind of came in. I didn't know that bit. Or like that guy came in, they were going to teach him.
I completely forgot about that part.
Yeah, I didn't know that one, and it was interesting. Like, why we wait this many years to introduce this guy and start explaining why this guy's important. I'm like, okay, what the fuck's up with this guy? But then it's kind of, I shared a cell with someone who bragged about
Killing your wife.
And her lover.
Yeah. And then it's a rather
Or I
poignant.
guess killing someone's, because it never really says it was Andy. Andy Dufresne could have been guilty. I don't think he was. But I think there was enough vagary in there that it doesn't necessarily have to be that that he was innocent. But it seems like he seems like he was.
I definitely don't think he did it, only for the fact of that when he mentioned, this is what I'm in here for. And they made so light of it. Don't you know everyone in here is innocent? Yeah. And then he finally said, and that dude went sheet fucking white. Because he knew beat for beat exactly what he was talking about. And then told the story back.
Yeah.
You know? But I completely forgot about that part when I was watching it the other night. I was sitting in a chair watching it, and Amber's like, for some reason, I convoluted it with the Green Mile.
Oh, yeah.
Where I thought that, like, all of a sudden...
You're expecting that guy to have The Shining.
Yeah, Rockwell. Yeah. I was expecting, Sam Rockwell to show up and be like, yeah, I fucking killed her. Because he's fucking shithouse. Crazy as a shithouse rat in that movie. But then that's what I was crossing it over with.
Okay.
And then when they had the greaser guy come in, I was just kind of like, okay, I don't remember you.
Yeah.
You know,
and to kind of build him up, and it's like, man, once you get out of here, you're going to have your GED, and your life's going to be great again.
And my wife, I got a brand new daughter, and my life's going to be good, and I'm going to turn around and be like, oh, yeah, he did.
He can see the literal doom counter over his head.
Yeah, that dude, because he showed up, and they were like, we lynched him instantly. I was like, uh-oh. He got his GED. Uh-oh. I got a new daughter. Uh-oh.
Hey, the warden wants to speak to you alone outside.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
You mean on the outside of this fence? Yeah, sure. I'll come right out of
there. Yeah. Let me just walk out there. Would you like a final cigarette? Would you also like a blindfold? Like that part hit me in the gut pretty hard because I totally didn't remember it. And as soon as like the warden was like, "So would you attest to this in court?" And he's like, "Yeah, every word. Just give me a chance." And he's like, "All right." And then he does the like look up and does the nod. I was like, "Oh no!"
And then he got shot 4 times.
Yep, I totally did not remember that part.
I noticed it was 4 because the wife got shot 4 times, the lover got shot 4 times, he got shot 4 times. I don't know if there's a significance to the number 4 or if it was. I wouldn't expect it to be a coincidence.
Clancy Brown killed that woman in that golf pro.
Well, Clancy Brown wasn't the one that shot him. It was someone else. Clancy Brown was on the ground.
4 shots.
4 shots? Although none of them were in the head, which was what the DEA said. And the DEA was the old. He's Dale in The Walking Dead.
Yes, I did know that.
And he was in The Mist, another review we did.
Oh my god, that's such a good movie. Go watch that. Oh shit, I just spoiled my review. Go watch The Mist. It's really good.
Is The Mist Stephen King, or is that just a movie that feels like Stephen King? So we've done several Stephen King movies.
Mm-hmm. Well, the dude writes like 5 books a year, so
again,
Jesus.
Family Guy joke. It's about a killer lamp.
Are you serious? When can I have it? Yeah. That's one of my favorite bits on fucking Family Guy. It's so stupid. It's so funny. And it's true because I literally, 2 of the books I read, I could not believe. I read it all the way through, but like one was called Bag of Bones.
Bag of Bones?
Bag of Bones.
Okay.
And it's just an okay book that had a somewhat disappointing ending. And another one was called From a Buick.
Okay.
And
is that the car one, or is that actually...
That is the car one.
Okay.
That everyone seems to, for some reason, when I tell them about it, they're like, "Is it Christine?" I'm like, "No, it's not."
That's what I'm saying. Christine.
It's not Christine.
Okay, Christine. He's done more than one car movie.
Yes.
Or car book.
Well,
then he did the movie he directed that we talked about before. Was it Maximum Overdrive?
Maximum Overdrive. Yes. Well, I think so. I think that there could be an argument because they just explained what the car is, but I don't remember what it was. I think there's an argument to be made that it could have been Christine.
Okay.
But the car is insignificant compared to what the cars link to in the book.
Okay.
So that's all I can say. But I can honestly tell you, like, I think it's called From a Buick something. But it's one of my favorite Stephen King books of all time. And I had no fucking clue when I walked into it how good that book was going to be. And the beginning of it was so fucking boring. But, like, by the middle of it, it was like I was possessed and just turning fucking pages.
Is that like a car?
Yes. Yeah. Whoa. Oh, there's the link. From a Buick. Yeah, From a Buick 8. And then there's From a Buick 6 lyrics. What? Okay, I'm not getting sucked into that shit.
That's for Googling later.
Yeah, no. But yeah, it's if you haven't read the book From a Buick 8, it's really fucking good. Hands down, one of my favorite Stephen King books.
Is it a novel, a novella, or is it like a short story?
It's a novel.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I think it's like a 650 pages or something like that.
All right.
And that's a commitment for me.
Yeah, I don't read, and we've gone into why before.
Yeah, I could.
We won't go into it here.
Well, no, I'm not going to drag you into it. It's just.
But so I've not. My exposure to Stephen King is through movies, not through his novels or any of his writing.
Oh.
And also, I guess the fact that I used to live in Brewer, which is near near Bangor.
Okay.
Which is about where Stephen King lives.
Yeah.
Or lived. Well, I don't know where he lives now.
Okay, so From Buick 8 was published in September 24th, 2002. It's 468 pages.
Okay.
So.
All right.
And the car is blue. Christine was red. But it still looked like it has teeths. And.
Evil car.
Yeah, he likes evil cars.
3 times at least?
Yeah. Can't wait to read the one about the lamp. Yeah, that's no, you know what? I'm stopping. I'm not going on a tangent.
Yeah.
First Stephen King, I will say the first Stephen King book I ever read was called The Dark Half, which was a really good book. And the only reason this is the stupidest fucking story I've ever told in my life. The only reason I ever read it is I was going in a grocery store with my mom. Mm-hmm. She's checking out. This used to be the good old days where they put like books and shit right out near the registers.
Like a little magazine rack or whatever.
Yeah, and I wasn't even a reader at that time, and I looked at the book and saw The Dark Half, Stephen King, and it had fucking birds on the cover. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I wanted to read a book about them birds. So I went home and I read the book, and I was like, this is not what I expected it to be. That book was fucked up. But anyways, we're not talking about that.
It's at least Stephen King.
Yeah.
And I would not have pegged this as a Stephen King movie had I not known that ahead of time, essentially.
Well, and that's why I got it conflated. I think that's why I got it confused, because I was like, it's Stephen King.
Yeah. Because he did do Green Mile, right?
Yep.
And you can kind of tell.
Yep. Yeah.
Because it's another person with like that special power or whatever.
The Green Mile has got the Shannon in it, so...
Is just the special power called the Shining? Or is the Shining seeing like beyond?
I think it's just something that we call it. So if I'm remembering correctly, Dark Tower Gunslinger stuff, there's a lot of shit we can't explain. Like I know that like the breaks between reality and that world are called thinnies.
Okay.
And they warble when you get near them, so they're like rifts almost.
Ooh, warbly thinnies.
Yeah, they're called thinnies, and it's like basically where you can pass from our world to that world or whatever. So the house in it, the well, apparently had a thinny in it because that's where the entity was getting back and forth in. So, but I mean, he's written a handful of fucking books, and then he wrote the Dark Tower Gunslinger, saw how gigantic this novel could be, because it was like our entire existence is a fucking drop of water on the petal of a rose. You know, like
and then just kind of used that as a kind of reason to start connecting a bunch of stories.
Yep. And I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. But yeah, the guy that was in the Green Mile, played by
Michael Clark Duncan?
Michael Clark Duncan, he's basically he's an entity from that world or something like that.
Or it passed on to him or something like that.
Yeah. But welcome back to our Shawshank Redemption review. I'm so tired right now, so my mind is like wandering in 18 different directions. So I started a new job. So, like, my brain is just... I feel like I'm on fucking... some kind of acid right now. I'm just, like, so... And if you're wondering what this has to do with the Shawshank Redemption...
He carved it with a rock hammer.
I did. I carved that with a rock hammer, and then I bought it in San Francisco because it's a private joke.
It's a jade monkey.
Yes, it's a howler monkey too.
You.
But anyways, watch this movie.
Yeah.
You've probably already had everything ruined, like you had everything ruined for you. But you know what? It's still a good fucking story.
It is good.
And
And it kind of did stuff. It did tropes I'm not a huge fan of, but it did them well.
so my other favorite part of this entire movie was, are you rehabilitated? Oh yes, sir.
Oh yeah, every time.
I understood my lesson. I found.
Rejected.
I wish I wouldn't have done it. And then at the end of it, he's like, I don't give a fuck. And they're like, yep, we're gonna let him out. I thought that was great. Yeah, this movie was. I don't know if it's an actual real depiction of like prison life or anything like that, but I do know that it's a hell of a story. All the characters are engaging. This isn't one of those movies that centers around 2 or 3 different guys. It centers around like their little group.
Yeah. It's mostly Red, Andy Dufresne, a good bit of the Warden, and then like a little bit about some of his other guys because we don't really learn much about his other little friends.
Yeah, Red, Andy, the Warden, the fucking toughest screw to ever walk Shawshank's.
A little bit of Clancy Brown.
A little bit, yeah. Well, that's the toughest screw.
Okay. So you get a little bit of like what's going on with him, like up on the roof or whatever. Talking like, I got this money coming in, but I'm going to get screwed because the government's going to take most of a huge chunk of my money.
It's gonna take a huge bite out of my ass. Do you trust your wife? What'd you say? Do you trust your wife? Okay, yeah. Call the paramedic. This guy's about to have an accident.
I mean, it's coming from a man. My wife was cheating. I would not have trusted my wife with $35,000. Whereas if you're in a better marital status, then give it to her.
And that was the fucking beginning of the end for his ass if the Warden would have had his way.
I like that little kind of progression in the story where over the course of time he made his way to the library. Guards started showing up with their taxes.
And then they started planning like their fucking events around him and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a banker in there who can help with all your shit. It's like, oh, come on in, free banker.
You the smart guy banker, what killed your wife? I love the way they talk in the movie too. They have that old fucking like 1950s vernacular. You that hotshot banker, what killed your wife? What killed your wife? What is that? Where the fuck did that come from? But anyways, is there anything else you think we need to cover?
I don't think so. Unless you want to go on to scores.
Yeah, let's do that. First, I'm turning down the AC. It's hot. All right, so Nick.
Yes.
On IMDb, what do you think the critics gave this movie? And it's a number point number.
IMDb, so it's more.
Yeah,
What is it rated on IMDb?
Yeah.
8.3. I have a feeling this is probably a high one.
8.3.
Yeah.
Your final answer?
Sure.
9.3.
Oh, it's really high.
Yep, they love this fucking movie. And that's 2.8 million reviews.
And even Metacritic, like, what the fuck is Metacritic to have 21 critics?
I don't know, but they gave it an 82, which is usually like that's pretty high for fucking Metacritic.
That's good. 3 is high, but I guess it's a classic.
Okay. Nick, on Rotten Tomatoes,
We're gonna go 95.
95 for the critics.
Yeah, we'll go 94. Same as the year.
94.
Yeah.
91.
Okay.
What do you think the audience gave it?
We're gonna go 94.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
So you're just sticking with 94?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. 98.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's fucking nuts. It's a great movie. It's a flawless fucking story. It's great. I don't think Stephen King will ever write anything better than it. Ooh, that had to have pissed you off. Put that in the comments, you know.
If I made you angry, put in the comments how angry you are,
tell me.
and tell them like what the best story ever put to film is.
Yeah, tell me your favorite Stephen King book. I've read a lot of them, and there's a lot that I have not read. Like, I think one's called like Dragon's Eye or something like that. Apparently, it's one I'm supposed to read. That's like super connected to the fucking Dark Tower universe. The extended Dark Tower universe that Stephen King wrote is fucking boring, and I cannot get through Wolves of Kala. It's a fucking boring book.
So, is this your favorite Stephen King movie? Out of 9, is that what you gave it? A 9?
I'd say yes.
I'd have to think about.
Is it truly a Stephen King movie if he's not in it? Since he's in every fucking thing he's ever. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Maybe that's why it was good. There's like this curse of Stephen King. If he shoots himself somewhere in the fucking movie, it's fucking horrible. It's like the new Pet Cemetery. No, it's not true because the new Pet Cemetery. Did we
It
like?
didn't have it,
Yeah.
and we rated that one a little bit higher than the old one.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the lack of Stephen King makes the movie better. I don't know.
I think I'd have to think about Stephen King movies, but at this point in time, I think I like The Green Mile more than this one. But
Yes. No. I think they're equal.
it's hard. But
Yeah.
I think I really like Michael Clark Duncan and Tom Hanks, and kind of like their connection is really good, and then it kind of ends on that sort of dour note. Is interesting, I think, where it's kind of like we end up killing him, and then you find out like that old man at the end is just kind of like "Ugh." It's like this whole thing going on. It's good. Watch the Green Mile, and let us know, like, if you have a favorite Stephen King movie.
We're not gonna watch each other. We're not gonna ask each other to watch Green Mile. But if you like Shawshank Redemption, you've not seen that movie, Green Mile. It's fucking great.
It's good.
That movie was like a hard 7 for me, and then
Green
Mike
Mile?
Clark Duncan grabbed him by the fucking nuts, and I was like, "Ooh, 9." Hello, let me help you, boss. But anyways, thanks for watching.
Yep. I guess one more question.
Oh fuck, I was hoping to just kind of
Oh,
like
no, no.
yada 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 our way through that.
No. We need to give people time to watch a movie.
I know.
And Lance, have you seen Annihilation?
Like Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
No. I would say Mortal Kombat Annihilation if I remember that. Although, have you seen Mortal Kombat Annihilation? We could switch this real quick.
I instantly regret my fucking decisions. To ad lib, no, I have not seen Annihilation.
Okay. And the one with Natalie Portman and like Oscar Isaac.
That was weird, dreamy movie.
It's
That was Melty Bear movie.
we'll get into it in a month.
Go watch Annihilation and join us in a month.
Yes.
Is this a good movie? Is this revenge?
Revenge for the Shawshank Redemption.
No, revenge for Alone in the Dark. I feel still like I'm paying for that one.
No, we made you pay for that by making you watch it finally.
Thanks, fucking Tim. All right. Till next time.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.